everyone. Trying to get this all set up. It's been a while since I have hello everyone, and I need to do that. Trying to get this all set up. It's been a while since I have streamed on hello YouTube. Everyone, and I need to do that. Trying to get this all set up. It's been a while since I have figured out what I'm doing. I can't see if I am live here. Why can't I see if I am live? To get this all set up. It's been a while since I have figured out what I'm doing. I can't see if I am live. I can't see. Why can't I see if I am live? To get this all set up. It's been a while since I'm in the right place. I can't see if I am live. Yes, I am. I see Michelle. I see Shelley. I'm in the right place. I do not see what I should normally see on. I fly live. I see Shelley. I get that. I do not see what I should normally be changed a little bit, I think, because pause it, or I'm going to mute it, and you tell me if that works, Michelle. Didn't realize I had the feedback. I did mute myself. Let me know if you can hear me. It's been a long time since I have done anything with YouTube. Okay. Is it perfect now? Perfect. Wonderful. I don't have my little thing that says my stream health, so I don't know what is up with that. Don't understand. I like to look at stream health just so I know things are okay, I guess. All right, so everything is fixed that way, sound-wise. Hello, Tori. Welcome, welcome. I have to create 2 screens. They've changed a lot since I last YouTube streamed. Anyway, I'm not going to worry about it too much, just as long as I can see the chat. That's all I'm really, really concerned about. You guys will let me know if the buffering is way too bad, if my sound is bad. You let me know if anything happens, anything goes wrong, anything at all. Just let me know, and I will see if I can fix it until I get used to what they changed in the YouTube. Hello, Susan. It is way different. It seems like it is. I streamed a little bit yesterday just to check it out and to see. Perfect. Perfect. Thank you, Michelle. So happy to see you all. And I am a little early just so that I could iron out the kinks. And I thought I would work in this junk journal. I am in the mood to get some stuff finished. And I've not had a chance to do a whole lot of anything. So I thought finishing something would be good. And it is hot in here today. I need to turn on my fan. It has all these lights. I hope that doesn't make a lot of noise. Hello, Deborah. So welcome everyone. I am sorry, no notice. I used to stream on Ustream, but I was having some difficulties with the recordings, and I didn't really like the fact that my voice was not in sync with the actions as I was trying to explain what I was doing and why I was doing stuff. I know it was frustrating for me, and I know it must have been frustrating for other people who are trying to watch. So I did a little experiment yesterday on the YouTube to see, and it looks like everything is in sync on YouTube. So I am probably going to be switching over to live streaming on YouTube. And that is, it has its pros and its cons. I mean, Ustream has some stuff that YouTube doesn't have. It's just one of those things. It's just one of those things. So, we'll deal with it. We will deal with it. All right, so I have so much that I'm doing and want to do and that I'm trying to get done, and I don't even know where to start. Finishing up some of these pages would be great, but I'm not seeing anything that I want to put in. Isn't that funny? How you want to do something and you seem to block yourself. That looks like that would be interesting right there. Of course, didn't tear right. It didn't tear right. Hi, Linda. So I am just going to putter around for just a little bit until people get here. I am early and I'm not in the right place. I did leave a message over on Ustream. I hope somebody sees it, if anybody is over there. And come over and join us here. I have some stories to tell. Well, not too many stories. A little bit of stuff, but some fun stuff. Some fun, interesting stuff, I hope. I don't like all this whiteness here. Yeah, it must be hot. My air conditioner kicked on too. I did post in the Facebook group. It should be there. I posted, I want to say I posted about an hour ago with the link to YouTube. So hopefully somebody will find me. So hopefully, I was surprised yesterday when I came on and everybody found me right away. Let's see, where do I want to put this? I don't know why, I'm always surprised. I think I'll sneak on, do a couple tests, and no one will see me, and people find me immediately. I'm not that sneaky, obviously. I'm trying to use up some of this stuff here. This was my travel project. I never did get to do any of it. None. YouTube sent an email to you. Sometimes YouTube is really good about sending notices that somebody's streaming, and sometimes I've heard it's pretty bad. Don't get any notices at all. People complain. There's nothing I can do about YouTube not sending out information, sending out their emails. Nothing at all I can do about that. Hello, Ashes. Hi, Dorothy. see if I can keep up with chat just a little bit, huh? Just a little bit. Let's see if I can do that. It's really tough sometimes. It can be very tough. Ash, that's perfect. I think I've seen some new names that I haven't seen before. Obviously, you guys have watched me before since you got notifications that I'm here. Thank you, thank you. Let's see here. I am just doing some random collage in here, hoping to get it finished. I think I'm going to be doing some junk journal works today. So I want to say it's about that time. And so I should say hello to everyone. Great, Ash. I love it when people are crafting along, doing their own thing while streaming. So I don't mind if no one says anything. I just need somebody to say something every once in a while so I know that everything is working. But I really enjoy the fact that people are doing their own projects while I do my project. And that's what it's all about for me. So I appreciate that. So I want to say, well, I'm looking at four things to glue. Hello, Jennifer. So happy Tuesday. We love Tuesdays. Tuesdays are great. I am live streaming on YouTube today. Hi, Ann. And I probably will be live streaming on YouTube for a while. I have bad internet, and my internet is fighting with Ustream. So the recordings are not the quality that I would like them to be. So I am moving over to YouTube for the moment, for now. So in the next few weeks, I will be streaming on YouTube. I'm streaming on YouTube. So if you get a chance to come over to YouTube, hi Kimberly, I would love to chat with people here, love to talk, answer questions and all that good stuff. I like this. I just recently saw this movie and I thought it was so cute. And now I've got to decide which picture I like better. I don't know if I can make that decision right now. So I'm going to leave that for later. That's a hard choice, man. I don't know if I can make it. Really hard choice. So hello, Sarah. Sarah, is that... Hi, Vicki. Thank you, Linda. Linda says, you're just going to follow wherever I go, huh? Follow blindly. Let's see here. Kind of like this. She's kind of too big for that page. So I am... Wow. Hi, Knits. Hi, Vicki S. Deborah. Anyone that I missed? I am trying to follow chat, but it's really hard to do anything and follow chat at the same time. And I've got my autofocus on because I have promised to show how to sew in. Hello, Barry. It's Lisa. I have to remember that Barry is Lisa. All right. It's a hard one, but my brain doesn't work that fast usually. I want to sew in signatures today. I was going to do some junk journaling. I'll have to tell you the story. Let me get some of this stuff out of the way. And I'm obviously not going to get much of this done, but at least I got a head start. Let me tell you the story. I went to Tuesday morning this weekend. I was there on Friday. My Tuesday morning just opened. It's been open 10 days now. Sarah O, is that you, Sarah O? Do I know you as Sarah O? Or am I got the wrong Sarah? So I was at Tuesday morning and I was by myself. So I was going through everything. Hello, great. I was going through everything in the entire aisle very slowly. I spent like 2.5 hours there. I went through everything. I looked at everything. No, okay. Okay. Well, thank you anyway, Sarah. I've got a lot of Sarahs. So I was taking my time and enjoying everything. I had gone to this Tuesday morning the day after the grand opening and had found a ton of stuff. So some really cool stuff that I'd never found in any other Tuesday morning. And I went back because I thought, I could use a couple more of this or that, the other thing, since it was really, really affordable. And of course, didn't find a whole lot of what I found in the first place, but found new stuff. Hello, May. And in the middle of finding and looking and enjoying my Tuesday morning experience, I had a lady ask me, hi, Lori, do you use scrapbook? Because I think she was watching me and she obviously knew that I was looking for specific things and I knew what I was doing. I looked like I knew what I was doing. I probably didn't really know, but I looked like I did, I think. Hi, Anne. Their inventory changes, Tuesday morning's inventory changes very quickly, especially when it's a brand new store and people go and buy all the stuff and they had to replace it. My visits were only a week apart and they had almost completely new stuff. So that was kind of cool. Anyway, so she asked me if I scrapbook and I said, no, not really. I don't think I've ever scrapbooked. I do mostly mixed media. And she said to me, and I thought this was the bravest thing to start asking questions. Hi, Judy. To a stranger. She said, well, I have been trying to figure out how to do some junk journaling and some Bible journaling. And I said, that's more of what kinds of things that I do. So she started to ask me questions. Well, I've got a Zatarain's box. How do I cover it? And I don't know how to sew, and how do I sew in the signatures and all that good stuff? Well, it's really hard to show somebody how to do something in the middle of a store. So I gave her my YouTube, and said, I've got tons of videos. Gave her the names of a couple of other people that do a lot of scrapbooking or the junk journals. and said the best way to learn how to do it is to look at these videos and watch people. And I know that I have promised showing how to sew signatures in for a very long time before I left Alabama. I still have the collage, my second collage journal. I still have it ready to sew into signatures. I need to, hey Kathleen, hey Kat, I need to make a cover for this. I just have not had a chance to paint some paper and to make the cover so I can show how to sew it in. I might do it all in one time. The only problem is I need to let the cover dry so I can sew in the signatures. I don't know exactly how to do that, and I've got so many. Is the sound low? Let's see if we can change it. Let's see. My mic is all the way up. Hi, button. Is it okay? I've got my sound all the way up on all my stuff. So it is low. Huh. It must be, I've got my sound all the way up. Okay, let's see if that works. Hi, Brenda. First time here. Thank you, thank you. So anyway, I do have this still to show how to sew in the signatures. I'm still saving this, but it's been a very long time and I want to sew in some signatures. I want to show how to do that. So I am going to spend the first part of this. We're going to make a little junk journal. I'm going to put this one away. I need to sew in this one as well, but I want to finish the signatures first. So I'm just going to make a little junk journal. And I am going to make a junk journal out of a candy box, just so we can all figure out what we're doing here, people, right? I don't know if she is here or not. I told her about the live streaming. I told this lady I had plenty of videos and other videos and friends' videos, and hopefully she'll see the recording. But I've had more than one request to show how I sew in signatures. So I would like, you know what, I didn't get her name. I did not get her name, so I am not sure. I'm not sure. Hi, Bella. Well, thank you. A lot of people are happy that I am on YouTube. I'm kind of happy that I'm on YouTube too. The shop lady, yes. The shop lady, the lady who stopped me and asked for, and then, you know, I gave her the YouTube and she says, you know, she walked away thinking, wow, serendipity here. Oh, sorry, Kathleen, is there not a I thought I left a message there in the chat for anybody that showed up to Ustream. Did you not see that? Did you not see it there? And Susan, I am trying to get my business cards set up. I haven't got that far yet. Getting there. That's one of the things that's on my to-do list. And you didn't go to Facebook first. There should have been a message there at Ustream. If anybody is in Ustream right now, can someone do me a big favor and pop over to the Ustream and see if anybody's there and tell them we're over here at YouTube? That would help me out quite a bit, and then I don't have to worry about messing up anything that's recording. So if someone would go over and see if there's anybody lingering over there at Ustream that doesn't know I'm over here at YouTube. Anyway, so this lady, mostly she had been collecting junk mail and stuff. She had stuff to put together and just wanted to know really how to put. Thanks, May. You are a lifesaver. Oh, you couldn't see the chat. All right, I'm sorry. Goobers I like this box because it's really thin and it's white on the inside, and I thought it would be a great small project just to just to show a basic let's sew in some signatures. All right, so I have my box, and I'm just going to go from start to finish because she had a box, and so hopefully she'll see the recording, and hopefully Dollar Tree candy boxes. I get these at Walmart too. Walmart, they're 97 cents. They're just a little bit cheaper at Walmart. And I think, well, they both have quite a variety. Thank you, Bella. Okay, so what I do is I take my candy box, and I did pick out a bunch of, I cut some papers, and I'll show you how I cut papers. I found some envelopes, some book pages, some map pages. I have a calendar page here, some magazine images, some pages, and some scrapbook paper that I didn't really love, but it kind of matches the box, so I thought that was where it needed to go. So I've got some pieces here, and I cut them already. I open up the box. Let's go first things first. I open up the box kind of carefully so that both ends are open. You know what I do? Hi, Cheshire Cat. I get the boxes and I put the candy in Ziploc bags and I send them off to work with my roommate, and his people eat the candy. So I don't end up eating all the candy. I do that. So I can have the boxes and they get the candy and they're really happy with just getting the candy. So, and then I can open up the boxes and I know that they're all good. So anyway, I look inside this box. Now you can see right here, if I can get the glare off of it, there's a seam in the box where the cardboard is doubled. You can see that there's a little bit right there. On the other side, it is just a plain piece of cardboard. So this is the seam with my side, the side seam here. And I like to keep that intact because it makes the box spine stronger. So what I do is I want to open up this box to make the book out of it, but I want this other spine over here, so I can glue that on here as well to make it extremely, extremely strong. Okay? So is anybody over there, May? I don't see my Miss Vicki Brown. Where's my Miss Vicki Brown? Why don't I see her? Why doesn't she say hello? Is she here? All right. So I go ahead and cut on the seam here, right inside. Let's see if we can get it to focus. Right inside on, hi skinny cat. There we go. Right inside. So I am cutting apart this box right at that bend, the fold right there. Okay? Thank you, Susan. I can't imagine why she's not here. So I'm going to cut that all the way up. So that my box is open. And I'm taking a very long time here. Okay, so then I've got a book cover, all right? This is the book cover. And you can see here the seam where there's two pieces of cardboard together. Now, I like to keep that intact. It keeps your spine stronger and all that good stuff. So now I've got this strip as well, and I cut that strip off so I can glue it on the spine. So I've got triple force thickness there. Yeah. Okay, thank you, Dorothy. Thank you. Hey, Amberly. Okay, so then to make my cover, I cut off all the tabs. I cut off this other spine, and what I am left with is the cover. And another strip. Okay, so trying to speed things up just a little bit. I take this strip, put a little bit of glue on it, and glue it into this cover. So now I have 3 layers of stuff on the spine. Makes it a little more difficult to sew through, but it makes your spine really, really strong. Okay? Then I go to cut my papers from stuff that I have collected. And let's see where I can find, here's my piece of paper. I measure, all these candy boxes are different sizes. They can't make the same candy box size for each one. Every single one has a different size. So you have to measure them and figure out what you need. This one is about 6 inches and 1/8 tall, and it is about 3 inches wide. So to make a page, you want to make sure that you've got, I've made mine 6 inches tall so that I have a little lip on the top and the bottom of my cover so that my pages don't peek out on top or on bottom. And I want to do the same thing for the sides. I want my pages of my book to be kind of tucked into the cover just like a normal book would be. The covers are always, well, almost always, a little bit larger. And you also have to keep in mind that when you put papers together in a signature, those middle pieces of paper are going to creep out and peep out just a little bit. So you want to make sure that your pages are not too wide. So I went with pages that are about 2 3/4, just to give myself a little bit of inch of way. And then I doubled that to make a whole page so that I can sew this in. Hi, Karen. So my pages end up being about 5 3/4 inches by 6 inches. And then I cut, hey Shelly, hey Janet. And then I cut all my pages that size so that they would all fit in the box. If you've got a larger junk journal, it's easier to do. This one is a junk journal. It's got envelopes in it. It's got magazine pages. It's got calendar pages. It's got all kinds of stuff. It's easier to do something bigger like this. All you have to do is collect the stuff you've got, fold it in half. You've got your signatures. I've got some fold outs here, some pamphlets that I used. It's much easier to do it this way than it is a little tiny candy box, but I wanted to do the candy box. I probably should not have glued this spine in for this demonstration, and I'm going to take it back out just because I want you to be able to see the marks when we sew it in. Hi, Vicki. I was wondering where you were. I need some water. Now I will show too how to cover the cover, but let's just worry about sewing in signatures now. So I've got some, and this one is going to be, is that going to be, it's going to be too big. If I fold that in half, it goes out, so I can't use that envelope. I think I can use this one though. I wanted a couple envelopes and I just didn't have it. So I want to start folding my papers in half. And I always fold all mine individually. You can use a bone folder. When you're folding your paper, you want to start in the center and go out, and that keeps the end corners in the right place. If you don't go from top to bottom like this, you're more likely to have a corner out of place. So always start in the center and go up and then go down. I'm going to do some of these two at a time to save time because I've got a lot of stuff I want to show you. So let's just get them folded. It's a junk journal. It doesn't have to be perfect. I am a recovering perfectionist. It's one of those things that I'm trying to learn how to live with stuff. And I got this calendar page, and I kind of like this bear, and I want to be able to see the whole bear, so I want him in the center of a signature. So I'm going to put him on the side here for a sec so I can find him again. You also, just for reference, you want to make sure you don't have too many pages in your book because you will be adding stuff to it. You want to make sure that you've got enough room to glue and to do all kinds of stuff in. You can add pockets and stuff. And I may have too many papers here for the amount of space I've got. But I'm just going to go for it. All right, so I have got, I think I had 18. And I'm going to make 3 signatures. So this was my center signature. And I'm just going to make piles. And let's see what we've got here. I don't like to make too many pieces of paper in my signatures. Well, we got it just right here. I think I'm going to put the envelope in the center too. And the envelope, I like envelopes in my junk journals, but I'm probably, let's see if I can sew it without catching the top of it. So how many pieces of paper? 4, 5, 6 pieces of paper, which is about right. And I am going just to start stacking, cradling pieces of paper in other pieces of paper to make 3 signatures. Just like that. I forgot to grab my phone book. I can do that real fast. Alrighty, so I'm going to do that with each one. Cradle them. Uh-oh. I need to switch that one and this one and this one so that I have the bear in the center. We want to see the bear. He's going to be cool in the center, so that's my second one. I want the envelope in the middle. Your pages don't have to be the entire length. They can be a little short too. I always like fun little bits. I'm going to try not to sew my flap on my envelope so I can close my envelope. That's going to be a little tricky, so we'll see how I get along with that. All right, so the next part is making a template. And I should have done this before, but I guess showing you how I do it is good enough too. So I want the template to be exactly the same size as my book spine. So I'm going to cut that there. And I'm going to use a very black pen so hopefully you can see this. So this is my spine. It's not the same. Move over, people. Move over. Okay, so I am going to put my spine here. I'm going to make a little dot there, a little dot there. And without moving the cover, I'm going to make a little dot here and a little dot here. So this is the size of my spine. I am going to cut that out. Actually, I'm going to cut it out this way. And I'm going to cut it the right length, but I'm going to leave it so I have some paper to deal with. All right. So my spine is this big. Okay. That's my spine. You're trying it? Okay. Let's move that if that's very distracting. Okay. Look at the bear. Look at the bear. All right. It's been a while since I've done this, so I'm trying to get it done correctly. The first thing I do, if I have a little piece of paper, and that's kind of why I wanted the whole, why is that shorter? funny. Because it is a little bit short. I need to cut this off just a tad. Just a tad. So that is my spine, okay? I do not like to, hi Eileen, I do not like to measure. I always get my calculations wrong. It never fails. It happens to me every single time. So I am doing 3 signatures. I usually fold, well, let me do it this way. I fold my spine paper in half. Now I'm going to meet those 2 lines so I know exactly where the center of my spine is. Now, I'm going to put a good crease in it so I can see it when I open it up. So, and it happens to be right on that blue line. So this is the middle of my book. My spine. Okay. And then, while it's folded, and it's really hard because it's very, very small little spine, but I fold, while it's still folded, I fold over, wow, this is really, really hard. I fold over just a little bit and crease that really well. Let me get my bone folder out here. Crease that really well so I can see the lines. Uh-oh. It's not right because it's so tiny. Let's see if I can make it do what I want it to do here. Convince it that it wants to be smaller than it wants to be, right? All right. It's not exactly perfect, but you're going to get the gist here for larger books. I have folded that over just a little bit. So when I open it up, I've got 3 lines down the spine, and those will be my sewing lines. Okay? Now I'm doing a 3-hole pamphlet stitch, so I need 3 lines going in the opposite direction too, so I fold it in half and I know exactly where the middle of my spine is. And then, I've lost my focus thing. That works. That works. And then when I still have it folded, I fold the paper. Oh, I like to have my signature sewn down on my book pretty close to the top, but not right on the top. So is it dark? I've got all my lights on. I got both my lights on. Is it and my overhead light on? Is it dark? Let's bring this one down a little bit then. Let's see if that helps a little bit. Does that help? Okay. I like to sew my signatures in like a little bit below. So I am folding my paper just a little bit to show where that line is and making a crease. And that way both of my pages will be exactly in the same spot on top and bottom. So when I open it up, I've got all these little fold lines. You can hardly see, but you can see we've got 3 fold lines down here and 3 fold lines along the spine. And what I am going to do is I am going to put a little black dot where all those lines intersect. These are going to be my sewing holes. Let's see if I can find them. There and there and there. The bottom one is a little hard to see. Those are my sewing holes. All right. I'm going to get my phone book so I can start poking my holes. You can use any book. If you have a book cradle, but most people that are starting out don't have book cradles, I recommend a phone book or some large book that you don't care anything about. If you have an awl works really good. If you don't have an awl, a push pin or a thimble and needle will work. Hi, Cass. Okay, I'm going to take my thimble out here so I have it. And I'm going to open up my phone book so I can poke holes, and I'm not poking holes into my desk or my lap or any of that kind of thing. I have a bunch of clamps that I use. You can use paper clips or clamps or binder clips or anything that you have. I got these at the Dollar Tree. I love them. So I'm going to use those. And I am going to line up my template to my book. And I'm going to clamp that paper right there so it won't move while I poke holes into my spine. And that's all I am going to do is I'm going to take the point of that push pin, put it right there on the dot, right there, and I am going to push straight down. Sorry, it takes a little muscle through all those layers. Straight down into the book so that it comes out the other end. Can you see that? You want to make sure your holes, you can see them. Hi, Mrs. Plum, and you told me your name, and I have forgotten it. I am so sorry. I am horrible with names. So we have 9 holes here to punch through, and I am going to do that for all 9 holes. I'm going to make sure they go all the way through the cover. You can see this, the hole right next to it. You want to make sure that you see it, that they go through the covers. And I'm going to try to do that kind of quickly. To get on with it. You probably want to label the top because it's never exactly the same, and you want your pages to fit into these holes that you're making. Let's see if we can get this done quickly. That's a pretty tough cover for only 2 layers. Pretty tough. Wow. So I am doing all 9 holes at the same time. All right, last one. We're We're almost there. Hello, Ruth. All right, so you can see all the holes. And what I'm going to do now is unclip this, as we've got the box all ready to go. They should be in about the right place, but I see one of these holes is a little off. It's not going to be too big of a deal. So I'm going to get my signature, my papers all together with the valley. Make sure that they're all together. And I am going to put that template, and I probably should cut a little bit of this off so it matches. I'm going to fold it in half so that I can get it into the crease. That's the one reason little spines are a little difficult to do. I would recommend, if it's their first time ever doing, to do a larger spine, but this will show how to do it. So I am putting this template right there, and it is a little bit larger because the cover is a little bit larger. So I am going to turn it over, and I am going to trim off that little bit on the top and the bottom, just so it will fit in to my book, and I can measure the next pages with it. So now that it's there and the crease is in the crease, I'm going to clip these. And this is my top, so I want my top there. I'm going to use those middle holes right here. I'm putting the pages in the crease of this book. And that lets all that valley, all those folds, it lines up all the folds very nicely so that when you poke the hole into it, it goes through the folds of each paper, all in that first crease. So that's what I'm doing right through the second hole. You can see it there. And I'm making sure that I go all the way through so I can see those holes. So you can see this one and this one. If you need to make your holes a little bit larger, that is definitely okay, so that you can see them again. All right, keep the pages clipped so the holes stay all together, but remove your template so that you can use it for the other signatures. Okay, so I've got those all put together. The holes are all together and they're ready to be sewn in. All right, I am going to use some crochet thread, some black so we can see it. You can use embroidery floss, string, twine, thread, anything. You can use anything. And I'm just using a normal needle. And you want at least 2 links of the height of your book, plus a little bit some more for some maneuvering room. And I'm just going to cut that little bit off. So I've got this thing, this bit of string, and I am going to thread that onto the needle. And I like to use my thimble because I'm used to using a thimble. You don't have to. I'm just used to it. And like I said, we are going to be using a 3-hole pamphlet stitch. So, and we're going to go in from the center. Hi, Travis. Eva. Anybody else who's come in and I didn't say hi to? Hello and welcome. So I am going to go take my needle, my threaded needle, and I am going through the center and you want to leave a tail. Now sometimes when you're starting out, holding onto a tail can be difficult, but you want your tail to be large enough that you can use it to tie at the end. So I am going to sneak it underneath this clamp just so I don't have to worry about it, and I know it's going to stay put. All right? Then I am going to go, I've got it through all the pages, and I am going to go down through the top hole or the bottom, one of the sides, and you want to go through the hole that you've punched all the way, and then you're going to go all the way down without getting it caught on your clamps, all the way down to the bottom and through the bottom hole. So your string goes all the way from the top all the way to the bottom. Alrighty. Now you want to put the thread through the hole in the center. You already have a thread through there. You want the needle to go through that hole again, but you don't want to go through the thread. You want to be able to move both those threads independently. You don't want them to be hooked to each other. You want to be able to tighten up those strings. Hi guys. Hi Dee Dee. I think I saw somebody else too come in that I didn't see. Raven, hello, hello. So you want to make sure that you don't catch that string. So now you've got the two tails on the one side of the page. You want to make sure, you can unclip it now. You want to make sure that one of your tails, and I'm going to unthread the needle as well. You want to make sure that one of your tails is on one side of this thread and the other tail is on the other side. You want to kind of tighten it up, make sure that you don't have any loose bits, that it's firm enough to keep it stable, and then you just want to make a square knot over the thread in the center that goes from the top to the bottom. Just like that. And then I clip mine pretty short. I probably should clip it a little shorter than that. You can leave these threads a little longer and put little hearts or something on those. But that, I didn't sew it into the book. I am so used to sewing signatures together, I didn't sew it in the book. Let's try it again. Cutting it out, trying it again. And of course, probably somebody in chat was saying, she's not sewing it into the book. So I'm going to get my length of thread out one more time, and let's see if we can do it correctly this time. Hi, Cat Hand. Oops. That's what happens when you go too fast, huh? Let's try it again. All right. So I am going to clip this again before the holes move. I am going down through the center. And I'm going to use the cover, and I'm going to go through the first set of holes right on the edge. I want to go from one side of the spine all the way to the other. It's easier to do it that way, so you're not fighting the other signatures. So I am going to go through the center hole in the cover all at the same time. Try it again, and I am going to clip that tail right there on those papers so I don't have to worry about that tail, so I have a tail at the end. Now I am through the cover, and I want to make sure that I am going through the same line. I want to go through the first hole, on the top. So that's where I am going to put my needle. Turn it around. And I'm going to pull that thread through before I try to find the hole on my signature. Now I can see the hole in the signature, so I'm going to put the needle through that signature through that hole. Okay. So then I'm going to tighten that up just a little bit so there's not a lot of slack. And I am going to go through to the bottom to the hole there that my clamp is kind of obscuring there. It really is right there. So I'm going to go through that. And I am going to go through that first hole again in the cover. All right. And I'm going to do it all in one little fell swoop here. And kind of tighten it up a little bit, but not too tight. I'm going through the center hole here. Again, I don't want to split the thread. I want to make sure that I am not going through the thread that's there, just through the hole. And I am going to go through the hole in the center here. Again, not going through the thread. I am pretty loose here, so I can kind of see what's going on. You can see that this thread here is pretty loose. We're going to tighten it up when we get all our threads together here. I'm going to go through that hole, and it doesn't want to go through all, there it goes. I'm going to go through that hole. I want to make sure that everything's pretty loose here. I want to make sure I've got all the threads in. I want to make sure that one tail is on one side of this thread that goes from the top to the bottom, and the other tail, if I unclamp it, is on the other side. Okay, so we've got the thread in the center here and the two tails on either side. I want to pull them, and I look on the back to make sure everything is pretty tight. All right, and I just make a square knot. And that is our first signature. So I'm going to just cut the little ends off because I'm not going to attach anything to them. And usually your thread is white so that you don't see it so much, but take your clamps off and you've got your first signature sewn into the book. Okay, so the next one, I'm going to put this one with the envelope in next. I'm going to put my template here so that I can poke my holes. Actually, I don't want to poke it through that envelope, so let me poke it through the two bottom ones. And I'm trying to get this envelope so I've got at least two of these holes through the envelope, and that makes it a little bit more secure. I'm going to put it in the crease of the book, lining up all my papers and my template and everything. I'm going to take my push pin and I'm going to go through the two here, and then I'm going to move this envelope top so that I don't put a hole through it. Where'd my push pin go? And I'm going to put a hole through the top there. All right. Now I needed to clip those all together and I didn't. So before I move it too much, I'm going to do that. Another thing of thread about, if you do 3 lengths of the book, you should be pretty good. Try to get it threaded. And since I don't have glasses that work, it's a little difficult. All right. So this is the top of my book. All my words were upright. So we're going to want to go through that middle set of holes right next to it. So I'm going to go through the middle. Now I got that envelope in there. It's a little tricky. Going through the middle of the signature. And I am going to go through that middle hole in the middle. Can we see it? Not really. My clamps are obscuring me. Right there. Can we see it? There we go. All right. So I'm going through the middle, leaving a tail, and I'm going to put that tail under the clamp just so I don't have to worry about it and it stays put. All that good stuff. Where's my needle? So then I am going to go through that top hole in the middle. Try not to get my thread all connected with everything. And this is much easier to do if you're in person and you're not trying to get it under a camera. It really is. And I'm going to go through the hole in all the papers without going through that envelope so I can use that. I'm going to put it down for a second. It's not going to work, is it? I'm going to have to cut that. See if I can just tuck it in for a second. It's just not going to work. Kind of hoped it would, but I don't think it's going to work. I might just cut that off. Cut that tip right off. All right. I might have to cut more of it off. Anyway, so I'm going down to the bottom hole. It was good in theory, but then, you know, having a blonde moment. And trying to get through all. Sometimes you need to thread. The holes move a little bit, so you kind of do a thread one paper at a time until you get through all the holes there. And I'm having some difficulty. There we go. And then through the bottom hole in the middle. Okay, focus. In the middle, right there. And I'm going to pull that all the way through. So we're working on the center line of holes. And I want to go through the center hole. I don't want to split the threads. So I'm going to go through that way, like that. And then I'm going to go through the holes in the signature. I'm going to have to cut that flap off altogether. So let me do that real fast without cutting my string. Just so it'll be out of the way. All right. So now I want to tighten everything up. I got it caught on something. It's not tightening. I went through the thread. This is what happens when you split threads. Unclamp, unclamp everything. Try to get it tight. Make sure that one thread is on one side, one tail is on the other side of that thread, which it was not. Tighten it up and make sure that everything is tight on this side. And unthread my needle and tie a square knot. That was a little confusing. That envelope did not work the way I'd hoped it would work. I'm cutting off my threads. All right, so we've got the second signature sewn in here. And only one more to go. And here's our little bear. I'm gonna make sure all the pages are correct. They're right side up, the top of the template, in the fold, just like that. Clamp them down so everything stays where it's supposed to stay. As I poke the holes, I'm going to use the push pin again in the valley of this book so that all the holes stay on the fold. Get some thread, about 3 links, just so you know you have enough. Thread the needle with poor eyesight and no glasses. Take your template out without moving the pages. I have yet to sew a template into a book. I don't know how I've managed not to. I'm going in through the center, right through the heart of that bear. I'm going to clamp that tail so I don't have to worry about where it's going. And I am going to make sure I've got the top on the top, and I'm going to go through those last bits of holes there. All right, so I've got the thread through the signature in the center. I'm going to go through the center hole in the cover. Then I'm going to go through the top hole or the bottom, it doesn't really matter, and through the top hole of the signature. I've got too much threaded there. I think I'm caught up somewhere. Nope, not caught up. All right. Then all the way to the bottom. I can see the hole there. I can go through the entire signature. Can we see that needle? Hey, Lena. And then I am going to go through that last hole on the bottom through my cover. Right there. And then turning it over, again, I don't want to go through that thread that's already there in the center. I want to be able to tighten up my signature without the thread catching. So I'm going to go through the book and through the signature center hole. Make sure one tail is on one side of that center thread and one tail is on the other side. I'm going to unclamp. That's where I went wrong. I sewed my clamp on. I'm going to have to redo that. I sewed my clamp in there. I don't know where I did that, so let me figure out where I need to put the sewn back in, rethreading this. It didn't seem like I had enough thread there. It's probably in the beginning. Was doing so good on that one too, right? All right, okay, I can't get the thread threaded. I might have to just take this whole thing out because I'm not sure exactly where I need. I am in there all the way. All I need to do is go through the signature here. I must have done it right at the beginning. All right. All right, there we go. That's all we needed. All right, one tail on one side, one tail on the other. Pull it tight. Turn it over. Make sure you're tight on the bottom or the back. And do just a square knot. So that is really, it's not as difficult as I am making it out to be. It does take a little bit of practice, a couple of times to do it. You get the hang of it, and then it's pretty easy. It is pretty easy. So that is a little junk journal candy box book, and it is ready for a little bit of something. And we've got the envelope in here that you can tuck some stuff in. So there's a calendar page and all this other little scrapbook papers and book pages and all that stuff. So then I can do whatever I need to do with that box. Wow. That was horrible, guys. That was horrible. So sorry. Water. Need water. I drank all my water. I drank all my water. So, let me get some of this stuff out of the way. I've got a bunch of stuff that I wanted to show, but I did want to get that little bit of sewing out of the way. This poor book, I have put holes into all the way through this spine of this. And then you've got a junk journal to do some stuff with. I was going to do a little bit of, it was fine. Was it understandable? I'm going to probably have to do it again. I will try to do one sometime this week. So this is a junk journal that I did. I probably finished it about a year ago. This is the junk journal that started the Shannon Green's in Mass journal. This is the journal that she saw. This is the book that she saw and asked if she could take that idea and run with it. And she did. And so this is where the in Mass came from. I call mine the scavenger hunt book. It did start out as a junk journal, and then I put all my collections in this book. Birds and stickers and cartoons and places. It is a true junk journal. I've got junk mail in here. I've got envelopes in here, magazine pages, book pages, all kinds of stuff. But you can't really see because I have covered up most of the stuff with other stuff. This is Star Wars. I got a bunch of Star Wars stickers. Had no idea what to do with all of them. So I decided to put them in here. Come on. Come on. Come back. Here is an envelope that I used. It's still open, so I can put stuff in here. It's got the window, so when you put something in there, you can still see it through the window. And I have pretty much finished this one. It's got a few pages that don't have anything on them, but I'm pretty much finished with that. Here's some crayon rubbings. I got a little envelope that I made with more crayon rubbings inside of it. I like junk journals because of the pockets and the envelopes and all that fun stuff that you put in there. So butterflies and vegetables and blue and fruits, and here's a page that I didn't do anything with. It's a book page and a magazine page. so you can really see the book as it started out. A complete, here's another, it's an envelope, so it's shaped funny, and it's actually still has its pocket in here, so I could put some stuff in there if I wanted to. It's empty, but I could. So this is what we do with junk journals. Here is an envelope that I put the edge of the envelope, the flap of the envelope underneath these things on here so it would flip out, and then the opening of the envelope is right here with more stuff in it. I love junk journals for the pockets and the little hidden treasures that you find when you go through junk journals. I enjoy that a lot. Of course, I can't get the wings back in there. That's my thing about, and here's another page that I didn't finish. It's all completely empty. Ready for something, but like I said, I kind of moved on. I probably won't do anything more with this. I kind of have left those pages so that you can see that it was a true junk journal when it started, and all the things that it doesn't quite look like a junk journal at the end, right? It doesn't quite look quite so junky. You cover up, you put some writing in, you do some stuff, you put pictures and write in them and add some envelopes and all that stuff. Here's eyes. And you end up with a pretty fun little junk journal. I also did a little mini junk journal, more in the style of junk journals. I should have had it over here to show. This one I did my first bit of coffee dyeing on pages, and I used Cocoa Krispies box and used papers that I coffee dyed, all these pictures, and then I added some pockets, some tags, some stamping. I used different kinds of paper. I put pockets in there with things in the pockets and some stickers and some tags and tracing paper, all kinds of fun stuff. I used an envelope, and I cut the envelope so that I can put things in the envelope. I don't think anything's in here right now, but this, I would call this a junk journal. It's got some tuck spots. I need to add some more stuff to it. I haven't added quite a bit of stuff to it yet. I've got some pockets in, but it needs more pockets and more envelopes and more little bits. Here's a piece of paper that's folded like an envelope. You can use a blank piece of paper so that you have a place to write in. I used some old, I found them on the ground actually, these tickets. I made a little pocket out of them so that you can slip something in there, and did a lot of stamping. I went through and stamped quite a bit of stuff, added some pictures and some tuck spots. There is a piece of scrapbook paper in here, some tickets that I coffee dyed. But I just had a little bit of fun with it. Guest check. I had a lot of fun with the coffee dye stuff. I hadn't done it before and thought it was a lot of fun. Here's the middle of my signature. I made a little pocket here and put one of my grandmother's, my great-grandmother's postcard copies in there. I reduced the size of her postcard so I could put it in there. And they sound kind of nice too. Here's a tag that I used washi tape just to put in there. And some painted papers. It needs a whole lot more. There's a lot of pages in here that are kind of plain and boring. Here's a tuck spot, part of an envelope. I haven't got anything in the envelope yet. There's a tag in another little pocket, side pocket there. But junk journals can be a lot of fun. Here's one with the plastic still in it. And I did cut off the end of the envelope. I think it was too long, so I can put things underneath that, and it'll show through the pocket. Where does that? So if I put something in this pocket, it'll show through. See, I just love junk journals for being able to play and find hidden things and treasures and all that kind of stuff. So this one worked. I don't know why this, because I had the flap outside. I knew I'd done this before. Didn't remember exactly how I did it, but that's how I did it. I sewed the whole thing in and the flap was on the top. I needed to put that envelope up further. It would have worked. So anyway, so that is junk journals, and I hope this person that I saw at Tuesday morning, I hope that helps. If you see this, I hope that helps you make your first junk journal. There was also another thing that I wanted to start doing. Well, how much time do I have? Not too much time. I wanted to start working on, I showed this in Montgomery, and hi Patricia. I started this in Montgomery, and I was on Ustream at the time, and it kept kicking me off. The recordings kept stopping, and I was having a time, and so I never did get the recording of this onto YouTube. But I did want, and I still want to work on it, so I want to start putting some signatures together. As most of you probably know, I have someone who works at a Barnes & Noble store. It's a College bookstore, and at the end of the year, I guess it was March, I got a bunch of calendars that they could not sell. I have over 50 calendars because I wouldn't let him throw them away. So I got 4 of these Ansel Adams calendars. 4 of them. And what I done is cut those pages apart. So I have them. And I thought that I would make a journal with these great big huge pages. Yeah, it was, I love the calendar sales too, but I actually got these all for free. They were going to put them in the dumpster. So he works there, and he knew that I would want them, so that's how I ended up with 50 of them. I didn't pay for them. They were going to be thrown away, so I rescued them from the dumpster, and I am going to make books out of them now. Well, some of them. I've got too many, actually. So I cut these pages apart and folded them in half, and I am making signatures. Now, I like to work in these kind of books, these kind of things. I like to work in signatures before I sew them into a book, and I've done this a lot. I have figured out that I work best if I work just in signatures. And when I was doing the collage books, again, I just work in the signatures. I put the signatures together. I work in the signatures. I do my painting or my gluing. I make my glue books. I do my collage. I do my writing, whatever I want to do in the signatures. And then I'm not fighting the rest of the book when I am working on pages. And then when I get my pages done, I take my signatures and I use a 3-hole pamphlet stitch and I sew them into a cover. I wanted to show how I do covers today, but I'm not going to have enough time. I really, really wanted to do some work in this one. So I have put some pages together. I think I put 4 of the pages together randomly so that the same pages aren't together. You can kind of tell that they're not the same picture. And then I work into the signature, and I do sew a 3-hole pamphlet stitch. I use just regular thread, really thin stuff, just to hold the signature together as I work in it so I don't lose my place of what page goes with what. And then I will take that thread out when I get ready to sew them into a book. But for the time being, I am putting napkins in the signatures, and I have gotten a bunch of napkins. So this is my version of Dee Dee Willingham's napkin journal. I am using napkins on some of the pages. Well, I'm going to use napkins on all of them. Let me see if I've got. And I'm using some tissue paper as well. And then my next step will be to put some collage elements. I am not going to do the color book bits. I just don't have time. So what I'm going to do is I've got a bunch of pictures and images and things that are really, really large so that I can put them in the large book. I don't usually work this large. So I've got quite a few images that are really large that I've never had a chance to use. And I'm going to use collage and napkins and tissue paper together in this book. So I just kind of wanted to, like I said, I introduced it in Montgomery a few months ago. It's probably 4 or 5 months ago I introduced doing this project, and I've not had a chance to really do anything in it since because I moved and I've been trying to get things all worked out here and all that stuff. It takes a while to get settled in, but I did do a little bit, and I've got it started just a little bit, and I'm looking forward to doing some of those kinds of pages. And I was going to show how I sewed signatures together for anyone who wants to work in signatures. It does free up space. It lets you put the signature flat so that you can work on it. Hi, Kathy. I like working in the signatures and don't have to worry about the rest of the book. So I've got these pages that I folded the calendars in half, the calendar pages in half. I randomly stacked them all up, and I am going to just use it's just regular thread, and I am just going to sew the signatures together so I can work in them and they don't get all mixed up. So I'm going to use about 3 links of thread from the height of the book. And I don't poke holes in beforehand. I just kind of eyeball it. It's just to keep the pages together as I work on them. So I don't need it to be real exact and I'm not real worried about it being perfect, because I am taking these threads out at the end. So I'm going to go through the center just like that. I'm going to hold my end of my thread so it doesn't go all the way through. And I am going to poke through kind of near the top, right on the fold. can see where I poked through. And hopefully it'll be on the fold on the other side. When you go through the mountain of a fold, it's kind of difficult to get all the way through the folds, but I managed at that time. And then I'm going to go to the bottom and just poke through in a random place. I'm not measuring. My pages should be a little bit better put together here, but I think I've got some, I don't think they're the same size. So I'm just going to go through that. And then I'm going to go through the center and up through the center. Trying to go through the same holes. Doesn't want to work for me. Close enough. And then I've got that thread that goes from the top to the bottom. I know you can hardly see it, but I want my tails on either side of that thread so that when I do my square knot, it's over the top. So that's all I'm doing. It's just sewing the signatures together so it's easier to work in and to glue things in and to write on, and it's easier to dry too. I can work on several different signatures at one time and allow them to air dry in different parts, and I don't have to keep the book open to one spot. That's one of the other things I like about working in just signatures. So here I have the next signature all sewn together, ready to work on. And this book is going to be huge, humongous. I'm going to have 9 signatures, and they are pretty large. They're large. It's going to be a big book. It's going to be a huge book. I've gathered quite a bit of napkins. I found a ton of napkins at Tuesday morning, and people have given me napkins. Cat Hand has given me napkins. Dee Dee's given me napkins. Vicky's given me napkins. Vicky gave me a lot of napkins. Hello, 70 Acres. And so I have one of each of those napkins, at least one. Some of them are small, so I put 2 in. I got that one at Tuesday morning. Love it. So I've got a bunch of different napkins in here that I will be using. And I need to get my collection of tissue paper out as well. So I am hoping, that's another one I need to get sewn together. But I was hoping to be able to work in that real soon. I love the way this page is turning out. I want to put just a little bit of napkin as pattern on there, and then I'm going to put some collage bits. I don't know if I'm going to use paint. I'm not sure how far I'm going to go with that. Paint's messy, and I'm not a big fan of making a huge mess. So that is one of the projects that I wanted to get going with so I could start working on it. But I wanted to show how I put the signatures together because I'm always asked about that. How do we sew signatures in? So how do we sew signatures together? And why do I just work in signatures? So we've got a little bit of time left. Uh-oh, I didn't get all the pages in that book. Oops. I'm missing 4 pages in this book. I'm going to have to take that out and put those pages in. I probably will not work in this book. This might be something that I might have to give away. So I will fix it up and give it away at a later time, I think. I have no use for another junk journal. Really, really don't have any use. Let me throw some of this stuff away. So, since we've got a little time, I thought that maybe we could do another junk journal. I was going to show how to cover a junk journal, just in case that person is still watching. Her other question was, how do you cover a cover to make a journal? She said, oh, you made some candy box journals, Vicki? How wonderful. Some? You made some? Was I that slow? That you could make more than I could? As I was messing up everything. So I've got the Hidden Valley Ranch box, and I cut it out like I do. I showed at the beginning of the stream. And I did glue in the extra bit of spine just so that spine is extra sturdy. And I might as well go ahead, and I'm sorry, you're going to have to look at my brush with water because I'm going to need that now. And I am going to use some scrapbook paper just because it's easier. I normally use painted papers for this, but I'm just going to use some scrapbook paper that I got on sale at Hobby Lobby. I don't really measure too much. Let's get the focus going. But I do kind of just eyeball it a little bit. All I need is a little bit, maybe an inch on either side of the cover. And I am just going to cut that off. You can use any kind of glue. I'm going to use some acrylic gloss medium, and I'm going to use that for the center at the end, so I'm going to keep that. And I am going to measure it now since I'm cutting. So this will be the other side of that. They'll be inside of the cover. So I'm just using the one piece of scrapbook paper to cover this little box. All right? All right. Are you with me? Hi, Linda, baby. Lots and lots of people here. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Trying to get used to YouTube again. So let me put that to the side. This is going to be the outside cover. I want to make sure the pretty side is down. And I am going to chop off. I don't measure. I just chop. I just cut the corners off of the paper that I'm going to use. Pretty close to the corner. Just a little bit there. And this saves you from having a bunch of bulk when you get your corners covered, and gives you straight and square corners. We like square corners. Okay, so I am just using a gloss medium and a paintbrush. This brush is one that I just use for glues and stuff because it is really icky. But it still works, so I can't throw it away. Thank you, Linda. Really. I didn't see that. Wow. Wow. So I am going to put the gloss medium. I'm just going to put a bunch And I'm getting ready to be done with this whole thing, so I want to use it up. It's my theme this year, use it up. Just going to put some gloss medium on there and brush it all over to make sure that this paper is well glued down to the cover. I'm going not entirely to the edge of the paper, but pretty close. I really want to make sure just the center is covered where that book or the cover is attached to. I want glue underneath the entire bit of cover, is what I'm trying to say. You want that well glued down. You don't want your cover to come up. It gives it a little strength and all that stuff. And I am making sure that I've got a little bit of the scrapbook paper on each one of these corners. Okay? And then I like to do, do you do the tops and bottoms or the sides first? I'm going to do the sides. And I still have quite a bit of glue on my brush here, so I'm going to use it. I want to make sure that I've got glue in that seam. Okay? Not too much, but I want to make sure that there's glue right there. Put your brush down. Here's the whole trick of making your covers. Pulling that paper against your cardboard and pulling it securely down against the edge to make that straight edge. Okay? You want to pull it all down, make sure the corners are down, and it is really square, solid against the edge of that cardboard underneath. And then you want to go to the opposite side and do the same thing. Make sure you've got glue on the cover where that paper is going to glue itself to the cover. So I'm going up quite a bit to make sure that I've got enough glue down here and I've got glue in the edge of the cardboard. And then again, I am pulling that paper against the cardboard, pulling it and pulling it to make that edge really, really secure against the edge of the cardboard. I've got a little lump of something in there. A little lump of matte medium. Don't want a lump in there. And my glue dried while I did that, so I need to add a little bit more. Okay, and again, I want to make sure the corners are down, the edges are down, and all that good stuff. Can we see that? Okay. And then we want to do the tops and the bottoms. So let's come back down here. You can come back down. Thank you. And I'm going to put a little bit of, I need some more glue, so I'm putting some more of this matte medium or this gloss medium right on the edge. And you need to do this pretty quickly because you need to bend the book while the glue is wet so that, I got some bubbles in there, so that the paper will not crack when it dries. You want to make sure that it's wet. The paper will stretch a little bit when it's wet. And when it dries and if you haven't stretched the paper, it will crack and you'll just have to cover it with duct tape or something. So you want to do that. And then you want to pull, I put the glue on that are already, you want to pull that bottom edge against the edge of the cardboard. I need a little bit more glue on the ends here. And this way, let me put a little bit more glue on this one before I show you. This way you have nice square corners. You can see how it tucks itself in there, and you don't have a lot of bulk in the corners of your book. If you didn't cut off that diagonal, you'd have a lot of paper here that wouldn't have a place to go. So that way there's not a lot of paper there and it's happier. So let me put glue on this side. Pull the paper against the cardboard. And again, I want to bend that so that those creases will crease. This scrapbook paper is a little sturdier than I usually use, so it is buckling just a little bit. It's not the happiest, but you can see what we have so far. So this is what we have so far. Okay. And then I'm going to take that bit of paper that I cut for the center. Okay, it fixed itself. Put a little bit more glue on. Yeah, I am really getting to the bottom of this. Really getting to the bottom. A little bit more, a little bit more. There we go. That was a little bit much. And I want to make sure I've got quite a bit of glue on the spine. And enough on the outsides. I have way too much glue. And then I'm not gonna match up the stripes. I'm just gonna wing it. And I've got way too much glue and don't know what to use it with. I guess I should put a napkin down. And then I'm going to fold it. Yeah, the paper doesn't want to fold very well. I don't usually use scrapbook paper for this. I usually use a painted paper, and that's more bendy. It's probably a good thing I'll be sewing something on there because it really doesn't want to bend. I probably should have folded it first. I'll use the back of this paintbrush and bend it into the crease there. Same thing with that one. And I let the covers dry. I make sure that I have yeah, I will definitely cut the tip off and get all the glue out. That's a great tip. Yeah, I definitely don't want to, there's quite a bit still left in there, so that's a good idea, but I want to make sure I have something to use the glue with before I cut it up. Great tip. I make sure that I leave the book cover folded like this. I like to dry them at least overnight, sometimes longer, before I do anything with them. So that is how to cover a box for a junk journal. And yep, I have plenty of glue here. Oh, this one's not sewn. I can't let that glue on my brush go to waste. Let's put some napkins in at least one of the signatures. Let's find some napkins. Here's a napkin. Let's see here. Find a page. Let's use this page. It's a brand new napkin, and you have to take the layers off. It's probably more than one layer. I should probably look at the package. If I use tape, it would be easier, but I never use tape. Other people use tape. Dee Dee uses tape, right? There, it's 2 layers on this one, so I want to make sure all those extra layers are off. And let's see, how do I want upside down birds? Not really. I'm going to rip that apart just a little bit. So I have 4 squares, and I'm just going to glue the 4 squares. Maybe cutting might be helpful here, so that I don't rip birds apart. Yeah, it doesn't want to tear that way. And I'm just going to glue all 4 of these. To this page somewhere. I want a thin layer of, and they're really fragile, so you have to put them down and not mess with them. If they've got wrinkles in them, they've got wrinkles forever. That's one. Put another one over here. I got lots of glue over here. And I'm not putting, I know Dee Dee puts matte medium on the top as well. I'm not doing that because I am probably going to add a bunch of collage bits, and I'm going to be adding more glue later. So I'm just going to wait to put more glue on top. Okay. I'm probably going to have to cut it open if I need more now. But I'm going to wait till later to put more on. And that way my pages dry just a little bit faster. I don't have a lot of room in my room anymore. I have a smaller room, so I've got all this junk in there, in here, and not a lot of place to put things to dry. It's a little challenging for me and not quite used to it yet. So I'm trying to get things so it doesn't take so long to dry stuff. Maybe just a little on the top and the edges here. And I can't let this one go to waste, so we'll use him too. We'll use that one too. Clean that up before it dries there. And that way it doesn't take so long for everything to dry if I don't have 2 layers of glue on there. And then my cats don't jump on it as it's trying to dry and attach itself to the cat, and the cat goes running all over the place with a glue something on its body, and it's all freaked out, and the piece gets all crazy at the end because it was dragged around the house by a cat's tail. Yeah, fun stuff. And of course, the next day the cat does the exact same thing. It never learns the lesson. Yep, that's my cats. So now I've got to find a place for that to dry. Yes, I do like your idea, Susan, of the Susan showed this in the Facebook group. She bought, what do you call them? They're cookie sheets. They're aluminum cookie sheets at the Dollar Tree. She bought quite a few of them, and she used, I don't know, how many did you have? Like 10 or so. And she stacked them. She would put things on these cookie sheets, and she would stack them, how do you call that? Crisscross them so that there was a little bit of space in between each one as things dried. I don't have that space. I don't have that much space. I have things on every surface here. My room is so much smaller. I'm surprised that I can get all the stuff in this room. I'm going to waste that. So I absolutely have no space at all. This is the only open space I have, and it is my working station. I cannot let things dry here because this is where I do everything. I have no space at all to put anything. But it is a great idea for those people that don't have a lot of space to put them on cookie sheets, on these aluminum cookie sheets. I think you get 2 for $1. I have them up here. I don't know if I can show them in, I've got 2 of them. I got 4 of them. I have these aluminum foil things. I've got 2 that have holes in them. But she would stack them this way with things in the middle drying so that air can get to all the good stuff and get it all dried. And she just kept stacking them on top of each other. Great idea. I'd never seen anything like it before, but I thought that was absolutely ingenious. Great, great idea. I use these for my coffee dyeing. But I don't have any place to put them, so I am lacking in that department. And I've got little piles all over the floor, so it's really hard to walk in here as well. So that is it. It really is a great idea. It really is a great idea for drawing things. And since I work in so many signatures, that's one of the reasons I like working in the signatures, and then I can go to another signature while this one is drawing, and I don't have to use the heat tool, and I can go to the next signature and do something in that and have this set in someplace else to dry. So oh, that would be a good idea too. Clothesline hung from wall to wall with clips to hang the papers from. Wow. Yeah, that would be a great idea too. I also have no wall space. I have 2 great big cork boards. I had 2 great big cork boards. I'm getting rid of them because I have no place. There is no wall space for me. I am going to my room is not quite half of what I had before, but it is pretty close to half of what I had before. And I had a lot of stuff in my other room, so it's been a little bit of a challenge. Definitely a challenge. So I look forward to working a little bit more in these signatures. I want to use these napkins. Definitely want to use up some napkins. So I think that's about it for today. I had a couple more things, but I've run out of time. You have an art desk, a teacher's desk. Now, this is my entire workspace. This is all I have. There's a frog face in the flower? Really? I don't see it. I don't see it. It could be a frog. I don't see it. There's a leaf. Top of the flower. This one right here. It's the leaves. Is it a frog? It's leaves that are a frog? I don't see it. Maybe I'll see it in the recording. It's the leaves. That's funny. It's funny how people can see things. I can't see it. Usually I see those things. I don't see it today. I don't see it today. I wish there was a frog. I would like a frog in there. I'll put a turtle on there or something. That is funny. So I'm going to let my book cover dry and this page dry. And we were going to talk about glue books today, but we've run out of time. Thanks for being here, guys. Thanks for finding me at YouTube. And I will be streaming next week on YouTube again. It seems to, my internet doesn't seem to like Ustream. So I don't want bad recordings on my YouTube, so I'm going to have to switch over to YouTube. So thank you everyone for finding me, and thanks for being here. Thank you everyone. Crafting Mamas she live streams later tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. She streams on YouTube. She is Crafting Mamas. That's Shelly. She does a lot of junk journals and all that kind of stuff. So go see her channel tonight. She's got a lot of great stories. I love listening to her stories. So bye everyone. Thanks for being here. It was fun. It was interesting to be on YouTube again. It's been a long time since I've been to YouTube. Long time. So thanks everyone for finding me. Thanks so much. Happy Tuesday. And I will see you at Crafting Mamas at 9 o'clock tonight. Bye.